911, what's the location of the emergency?
My daughter is missing.
What's your address, ma'am?
She's gone. We can't find her anywhere. I've called all her friends.
How old is she?
11.
Okay, what's her name, ma'am?
Carlie, Carlie.
And last name?
Brucia, Brucia.
Carlie Jane Brucia was born on March 16, 1992. By 1993, her mother and father had divorced, with Brucia visiting her Long Island family during the summer and winter school breaks. Brucia was living with her mother Susan Shorpen and her stepfather in Sarasota when the unthinkable happened on that February evening. Brucia was returning home to watch the Super Bowl after spending the night at a friend's house. She started the mile-long trek back to her home at about 6:15 o'clock. Her friend's mother, Connie Arnold, had called Brucia's mother to check that it was okay for her to walk, and Shorpen replied that she did not want Brucia walking along the busy Bee Ridge Road all by herself. She consequently sent her husband to pick her up, but he never found her. Steve drove around for over an hour, praying he missed Carlie. When he returned home, she was still missing. Susan felt something terrible had happened to Carlie, and she knew something was wrong. Susan and Steve left the house together, shouting Carlie's name, as they searched for her. Brucia's parents called 911 around 7:30 p.m. and
911, what's the location of the emergency?
My daughter is missing.
What's your address, ma'am?
Police initiated a large-scale search for Brucia as the unbearable hours ticked by. Then around midday the following day, police bloodhounds tracking Brucia's scent came upon Evie's car wash at 4735 Bee Ridge Road. The scent was followed by the dogs behind the car wash before it abruptly disappeared. A mechanic-looking man was seen leading Brucia by the arm at 6:21 the previous evening in footage obtained from the motion sensor cameras of the car wash. When police rewinded the video, they noticed a yellow Buick pulling into the parking lot 3 minutes before her recorded kidnapping. The video, taken from a security camera located behind a car wash, shows Brucia being confronted by a man, who then grabbed her arm and led her away toward a car that was spotted on another camera. The video was shown nationwide and spurred a massive manhunt for the abductor. The footage was immediately released to the media and an Amber Alert was issued for Brucia. Though Brucia's abductor was quickly identified from the footage as a local mechanic named Joseph Peter Smith, it was already too late for Brucia. Smith's address was eventually provided to police, and they discovered that the suspect was actually on parole for drug-related offenses. Smith twice violated his parole the year before, but the authorities chose not to remand him. Although there was no other evidence linking Smith to Brucia, police searched Smith's rented room and discovered mechanic uniforms in his closet. Smith was arrested for violating his parole after police discovered evidence related to drugs in his car. After seeing the CCTV footage, Joseph Smith's brother John agreed to help the FBI in obtaining a confession from him. John warned, "If it's him, you won't get it out of him." And yet on February 5th, Smith called his brother John, who was then able to take FBI agents and a local officer to the Central Church of Christ, and directed them to a nearby field 2.8 miles from the site of Brucia's abduction. John got a call from his brother again while he was at the church, this time describing where Brucia's body was. Carlie Brucia, age 11, was discovered lying on her back in a field behind the church with a deep ligature mark clearly visible on her neck. With the exception of a sock on her right foot, she was completely naked below the waist. Her right leg was extended, and her left leg was curled up beneath her. Smith acknowledged having rough sex with Brucia prior to strangling her during that phone call. The Sarasota County Medical Examiner determined that Carlie Brucia had been strangled from behind, and abrasions on the side of her body indicated that she had been dragged to her final resting place. A semen sample found on her shirt matched Joseph Smith's DNA profile, and 2 of Brucia's head hairs were recovered from the yellow station wagon he had borrowed, with 7 fibers matching the red shirt that Brucia was wearing. Smith had discarded Brucia's clothing and backpack in various trash cans. Smith was found guilty of all charges and given a death sentence on March 15, 2006. Smith's sentence was commuted to life in prison in 2018, but in April 2020, the death penalty was reinstated. Smith, however, passed away on July 26, 2021, on death row for reasons that are still unknown, according to the Herald Tribune. The unsolved murder of Tara Riley, whose naked body was discovered in a retention pond behind a Walmart in Bradenton, Florida, in 2000, has also been linked to Smith by the police. However, Brucia's horrific death did lead to legal action. A bill known as Carlie's Law was put forth in 2004 to amend the existing laws and toughen the parole requirements for sex offenders. But the legislation didn't make it through Congress and seems to have been dropped.